let's keep traveling around the world a little bit. We got to go through some fixtures in FAWSL. Chelsea beating Aston Villa 1-0 in impressive and dramatic fashion.
Very impressive, very dramatic. This is a stoppage time goal from Sam Kerr. Chelsea extending their unbeaten streak to 6 games. This was a good match. And Sam Kerr easily walking away from this one with woman of the match.
Yeah.
Hands down. Just she's so impressive to watch. Can we get her back in the NWSL so I get to watch her every single day? But I like this one, Sandra. Were you impressed with this? Were you surprised by Sam Kerr's performance, or were you like, this is just a day in the life of Sam Kerr?
A little bit of both, honestly. Like watching it happen, I was just like, yeah, of course that happened. And of course that was Sam Kerr behind it, right? So it just was one of these things where it's like you figured if it was going to end in like a 0-0 draw, it still would have been part of their, like an undefeated streak, but it's an unbeaten streak that's now extending to 6 games. And the fact that a player like Kerr has been with Chelsea for a few years now and has collected the amount of goals that she's done already for just this one franchise, right? It was just a very impressive day for a player like that, like all around, like all encompassing of what the day meant on a number of different levels, whether it was for an individual performance, right, specifically from Kerr, or for the franchise, in Chelsea, considering, the franchise has been in the headlines for a number of reasons in terms of being moved around and with what's going on in the world. So to sort of see that, sort of have Kerr, know that, kind of have that in the back of our mind. We saw like the clips of the interview, right? Whether it's Haim or Sam Kerr, and saying, hey, like that's for you, Chelsea fans, right? Because it's been tough, right? So to sort of have these moments of joy, right, kind of coming out on the pitch, it's nice to sort of have something like that, I think, for both the players, and their respective fans. Let's travel out of England for a second, right? Let's go to Spain. Barcelona are the 2021-2022 Primera Division champions, going undefeated once more, 24-0 on the season, and they do it with a win in El Clásico, with a victory over Real Madrid 5-0. Crowned champions of Spain with 6 games to spare. They're the greatest team in the world. They're the team to beat once and more, Lisa. It's just so impressive. What we've seen out of this team over the last, we'll even just say like 18 months or so. It doesn't even have to be 2 years. It's just very, very impressive. They were already up 2-0 at halftime with this game, right? It was almost written before it ended.
That's one thing about this team. They're so consistent. You know exactly what you're gonna get before the whistle even blows to start the match. And that's what you get, 24-0 for Barcelona on this season so far. I mean, incredible for them. They are the best. I like to see them being celebrated, right? And to having the best player in the world on their team and being the best team and raising the trophy. This is fun. These are the fun moments that I like to talk about. Chelsea winning and then Barcelona winning and raising this cup. I like this a lot. But as you mentioned, up 2-0 at the half, and then getting 3 more, one of them being an own goal in the second half to end this one 5-0 at the end of it over Real Madrid. Incredible. Sandra, I love talking about the world of soccer news with you, because then we get to like touch on these other games.
Because we actually get to chat a little bit about it, right? We don't often get the opportunity to do this. When we do, it's we like to hype it up a little bit, and we'll probably take deeper dives into Women's Super League in the near future, right? As Paramount Plus will be the home for FAWSL moving forward, beginning this summer. But getting the chance to talk about Primera Division doesn't often happen for us, so I'm excited to get a chance to chat about it when we can. Just again, because just what they're doing on the pitch is, I just feel like it's just very, very special that what we're witnessing right with this particular group of players, and to sort of have another domestic title right under their belt, and it just feels like there will just be more to come. It's hard to believe that it almost feels like this is really just like the beginning of this franchise and the things that they're going to win, and they're doing it with just phenomenal players on the pitch, right? And yes, Alexia Putellas is the greatest player in the world right now, getting a brace right in this game, but having a number of players, whether it's Hermoso or Leakin Martin's part of this
Mhm.
team. Asia Alcazar is the top scorer in the league with 19 goals. So it's you can go across this roster and say star, 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 star. Like it's it's impressive, and it's not like this team of galaxy superstars that aren't achieving things. They're going out on the pitch and they're actually delivering.
Yes, and she's the top scorer with 19 goals, and then four of her teammates are in the other top five. So, top five of the league's top goal scorers are on the
Yeah.
same team.
Yeah. Kind of hard.
Kind of cool.
Maybe
Kind of
maybe
unfair. Kind of
maybe
cool.
that's why they're undefeated. I don't know. Just spitballing here. Just throwing it out there. How's that for some
We don't know
analysis?
anything about the sport, but maybe that's it.
Maybe that could have something to do with it. Prize money. Let's talk about money in women's soccer. The Women's FA Cup prize fund will increase to £3 million, $3.92 million per year starting next season. The English Football Association announced that on Monday. The current prize money for winning the Women's FA Cup is currently £25, with £15,000 going to the runner up. So in the men's competition, the winner and runner up typically receive £1.8 million and £900,000 respectively. So just a little bit of numbers to throw out there for our listeners to sort of engage, the discrepancy, right, in terms of the prize money for the FA Cup. The FA's decision is going to allow UEFA's move to double its prize fund for this year's Women's European Championship in England to 16 million euros, with increased guaranteed payments for the 16 qualified teams. So that's news to celebrate, I think, as
That
well.
is huge news. $3.9 million starting next season. Now, it's not all going to go to, this was also in the release that all of that $3.92 million isn't all going to the winner and then the runner up. There is going to be some of that money allocated to the beginning rounds of the FA Cup. However, that's still a lot of money, especially when you compare it to the men's competition and what they're receiving. 1.8 if you're the winner, 1.8 million pounds, and then 900,000 pounds if you're the runner up. So this is a huge increase. I mean, this is fantastic. Equal pay, right? We talked about with the US side being at the White House today for Equal Pay Day, and now the FA Cup prize being increased. It just makes the competition for the women that much more respected to the naked eye, I'm going to say, if it
Yeah.
looks like they're getting the same amount, which it should be, because the competition could be arguably better.
It's
As
soccer.
good. Yeah.
It's a sport, and they're both playing the same sport.
Yes.
I love it. I love that that's kind of coming full circle, right? As we prepare to sort of close out the episode, at least. Let's bring it back stateside, though, to kind of close things out. Let's talk about another league that we don't often get a chance to talk about, but it's fun when we do. The USL Super League is aligning with the International Women's Soccer calendar. The league is set to launch in August of 2023. It's going to be a fall to spring calendar, which is kind of unique to American soccer. And the effort is to prioritize fan experience, on-field competition, participation in the global transfer market, and other various commercial opportunities. And Amanda Vandervoort, the USL Super League president, saying the calendar is constructed with players in mind, from playing conditions to career development to mental and physical well-being. So a bit of news in terms of that it's making this type of calendar
Mm-hmm.
a little bit unique to American domestic soccer.
It
Men or
is. I
both,
mean,
yeah.
it is. There'll be a winter break for FIFA window and international windows. And then the summer will be the off season, which does line up exactly with the European soccer schedule, which allows for better transfer market windows, which allows the USL teams to get first pick at the players that they want, because these players are now not competing to go overseas and plays. It just makes things a lot more cohesive. And now there's actual optimized recovery time. That's why Amanda Vandervoort, the president of US Super League, said that. She said because it's physical and mental well-being, because now they get a little bit of an off season. Everyone in their profession
Yeah.
needs time off for their mental health, for their physical health, and now that's the off season in the summer for this league, which is it's really good. I mean, the fall to spring calendar with the winter break, it avoids the World Cup qualifiers overlapping, which
Yeah.
also physical health for these players. They're not going from international matches right back into their Super League matches. I like this a lot. I think it challenges the American system because, right, this is not what the American soccer calendar looks like by any means. And by going with what the European soccer calendar looks like, it challenges the American soccer calendar. And this is not what the NWSL calendar looks like. They starting what March, the regular season
Through.
in May and goes right throughout the summer during World Cup
Yeah.
qualifiers, during the World Cup in 2023. I think it puts a little bit more eyeballs on the NWSL.
I
Not that
think
they
so
don't have
too.
enough going on, but on their calendar schedule and kind of how this conflicts with the international and European schedules.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. It'll be interesting to see other American domestic professional leagues, maybe keeping an eye on it, right? And sort of seeing how that kind of pans out, how that, develops over time in terms of its benefits, right? That's,
Yeah,
for the players and for the league itself. I know we'll be paying attention to it for sure. And the fact that it's, avoiding such a big thing like, World Cup or potentially
yeah,
qualifiers. I'm sure that's going to maybe force at least, some not speculation, but just discussions, right, about it
yes.
and how a schedule looks, or what a schedule looks like in the future. But
And this is almost a good test for a new league to see if they can still have the fan traction that they would have in the United States without being on a quote American league schedule in that
yeah,
sense. I hope there are like some measurables that they can use to actually qualify, like if this is good, if this is better, if this is because it's different, right? But how much different, how much better, how much are these players less injured? Like, I think those are stats that I'm going to be keyed in for
yeah.
after the first season, after the second season. Like, okay, how are players' injury levels? How is their mental health? Right? Like, these are the things that kind of determine how good or bad of a decision this could be.
Yeah, I'm gonna be keeping an eye on it for sure. It's always fun when we get to take a look at schedules like that in general.